They're like magic. With one swift swipe, that thing you just had to have in the window is going home with you thanks to the almighty plastic. Credit cards. The moment at purchase endorphin rush eventually gives way to dread when the bill arrives. But our favorite debt expert and chairman of Debt.com, Howard Dvorkin, is back to help us with tips to improve our mental health as it relates to credit card debt. It's great to have you back.
Thank you so much, and such an important topic.
I think we have all felt that feeling in the pit of our stomach, our hearts drop when we receive the credit card bill and we think, oh my goodness, what did we do? Why did I buy this thing?
Because you wanted it, that's why.
And you could.
Well, sometimes it's not only because you wanted it, sometimes it's to make you feel better. I mean, just like, you know, if you're having a bad day, maybe you take a drink, maybe you do drugs, whether prescription or not, or hopefully not, or maybe you go shopping. And that is the problem, because this is something that may temporarily make you feel good, but it'll affect your mental health and your whole being 30 days later when the bill comes in.
How much do you think our mental health is tied to our finances? And how has that changed over the years? Because during times when, I mean, there was the depression, obviously, that brought a lot of people down emotionally, mentally. But then we had this thing called the credit card come up, and people were able to easily make purchases and do things with ease. But then that's turned into self-indulgence, self-medication in a way. So how have you kind of seen that trajectory of our mental health as it relates to credit card debt?
Life is getting more stressful as we go on. You know, 20 years ago it was stressful, but it was not like this. You have all sorts of pressure. Now we have pressure that we must buy things to look a certain way, to be included in groups, and it is challenging, and certainly credit cards are putting extra pressure on people, not only to spend, but to spend on the right things. It is a difficult situation when you're trying to just live a normal life and that you feel that you have to buy certain things that you really can't afford. And that adds a ton of pressure to people.
Because when you think about some of the really successful, financially, famously successful people in our history, they could be very modest in where they lived, what they drove, or they prioritized where they would put their money. Are people just not doing that these days? It's just, I want that. I want to look like this Instagram influencer. I want to look like this star of a movie or singer, what have you.
The richest man in the world, Warren Buffett,
yes,
lives in the same house he lived in 1956.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I mean, it's an incredible story. Now, he does fly around on a private jet. However, the values that he grew up with are still intact, and they need to be intact, and they need to be reinforced. Certainly with children, you need to teach them the value of the dollar. And the things you see on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, that's not real. It is not real, and we have to start getting back to the basics of spending what we can afford.
And ways to do that, cutting out convenience.
Absolutely.
So it's very easy to have your credit card, it's in your computer or it's in your phone.
Be careful about preloading and saving your credit card information in those different platforms, because it makes it too easy. If you remember, when we were growing up, there was this thing called cash. And man, you didn't want to let that go through your fingers. And now it's like you whip out your credit card and you're done.
Well, now they make it so easy. All you have to do is tap your credit card against the POS system or your phone. If you've got Apple Pay or something, you just need to tap it on the machine. And
it's way too advanced for me.
Yeah, well, me too. I don't do it. I use credit cards. I don't like, well, debit cards, I will say.
I guarantee you pay them off at the end of the month.
Yes, I do.
That's the trick.
Because you have taught us so.
That is the trick.
And let's just talk real briefly about just dealing with the depression itself. So if you've made those mistakes, you can't return the thing, and you have to pay the bill, and it brings you down. not to just sit on that, to actually seek out help?
Well, you need to go. If you have
Yeah.
mental issues, mental challenges, you go to a mental health counselor. If you have financial challenges, you go to a credit counselor, hopefully debt.com.
Yes.
But you need to seek professional people that can help you get out of the hole you're in.
Most definitely. And then, of course, repel the impulse. So you've learned your lesson there. The next time you get tempted, just say no.
Yes.
Our thanks to Nancy Reagan for just saying
I was
no.
thinking of Nancy Reagan.
Well, they just came out with a stamp in her honor. So yes, absolutely. Howard
Wise
Dvorkin,
lady.
I want to thank you so very much for joining us
Thank you.
again.
Pleasure to be here again.
We're
Thank
back
you.
after this.